Hello, today we will be seeing about overview and history of R programming. Today's session, these are the following objectives. What is R? What is S? History of S, history of R features, features of a free software, R drawbacks, design of the R system, and resources in R. What is R? This is a statistical programming language which is an open source package which is based on S language developed by Bell Laboratories in United States. It is actually a dialect of the S language. This is a very powerful language for writing programs that can be used in anywhere compared to C programming, C++, and a lot of analytical and statistical capabilities inbuilt. So as you can see, there are a lot of statistical functions inbuilt inside R programming. A lot of people contributed packages to expand this functionality, and there is cutting edge research going on currently in R programming. There is an open source community that supports R, and it's widely followed in rbloggers.com and Stack Overflow. This is a programming language, and hence generating the computer code to complete the task is mandatory. So what is S? As I said earlier, R programming is a dialect of the language S. S is a preliminary language that was developed by John Chambers and others at Bell Laboratories. S was initiated in 1976. This is an internal statistical analytical environment originally implemented as Fortran libraries. Fortran, as you can see, is a basic programming language which is called, the full form of Fortran is formal translation. The earlier versions of the language, they did not have any functions for statistical modeling. The statistical modeling functions were added to R in the recent years. As you can see, the S programming language was rewritten in 1998, rewritten in C, and it began to resemble that the R programming system that we have today. This is actually version 3 of the language, and as the John Chambers, the creator of S language, has a book called Statistical Models, and which explains the statistical analysis functionality of the R programming. This is often called as the white book of R programming. Version 4 of the language was released in 1998, and this is the version we are currently using today. And there is one more book, Programming with Data by John Chambers. This is called as a green book, which documents the version of the language. Let's see the history of S programming language. In 1993, Bell Labs gave StatC, which is now currently called as Insightful Corporation, which owns an exclusive license to develop and sell the S programming language. In 2004, Insightful purchased the S language, which was earlier StatC, from Lucent for $2 million and is a current owner. Lucent is again an analytical company. In 2006, Alcatel purchased Lucent Technologies and is now called Alcatel Lucent. Alcatel is a mobile telecom provider in various parts of the world. Insightful sells its implementation of the S language under the product name S Plus and has built a number of fancy features. Most of them are graphical user interfaces on top of it. So hence the name S Plus. In 2008, Insightful is acquired by TIBCO for $25 million. Now TIBCO is the current owner of Insightful. The fundamentals of the language, it didn't change since it was formed in 1998. In 1998, S won the Association for Computing Machinery's Software System Award, which is a prestigious award for a software developer. Now we'll come to the history of R programming. This was created in 1991 in New Zealand by Ras Iaka and Robert Gentleman. Their experience developing R is documented in a 1996 JCGS paper. R was first announced to the public in 1993. Martin Mackler convinces Ras and Robert to use the GNU General Public License to make R a free software. Let's see the possibilities and the capabilities when a software is declared as free in the later part of the slide. In 1995, after R was made as free software, a public mailing list was created in 1996. R Help and R Devel, which is actually the development program for R. In 1997, the R core group is formed, containing some of the most associated people with S+. S+, as I discussed earlier, most of the GUIs were created on the base programming S, and S+ was formed. And these people were joined into the R core group as well. They control the source code for R. Even though it is a free software, there is a source code which will not be led to the people, and this will be used only by the core group. R version 1.0.0 was released in 2000, and the latest version 3.1.3 was released March 9th, 2015. The next version will be expected on April 2015. Now we will see about the features of R programming. What makes R so special that it became the buzzword of the analytics community? Syntax is very much similar to S programming, makes it easy for S Plus users to switch over. Semantics are all superficially similar to S, but in reality are quite different. Runs on almost any standard computing platform or OS. It is available for all platforms and OS, as you can see in the download page of R programming, which I will tell later. Frequent releases, annual plus bug X releases, active development goes on for R features, R programming. As it is a free software, most of the people are welcome to develop R programming, enable capabilities for R programming as well. Let's continue with the features of R programming mode. It is quite lean as the software goes. The functionality is divided into modular packages, and these packages can be downloaded from various platforms into your system, and these packages can be used across. If you want to develop a functionality, you are most welcome to. You can develop a functionality for R and you can publish it in the open source community. Graphics capabilities are very sophisticated as it is open source funded and better than most stat packages available in the market. This is very much useful for interactive work, but it contains a very powerful programming language for developing new tools as well. There is a very vibrant and active user community that helps R programming to sustain this market and grow in this market. You can follow those groups in Stack Overflow and in rbloggers.com. Let's continue with the next slide. What are the features of a free software? As I said earlier, R programming is a free software. It has a general GNU license which is published only for free softwares, and this is supported by the open source community. What are the freedoms associated with levels of freedom associated with a free software? The freedom to run the program for any purpose. You may be an individual, a professional, or a company buying this software, and you have the freedom to run this program anywhere for any kind of purposes. The next level is a freedom 1. The freedom to study how the program works, what exactly happens in the backend of R programming, and you can adapt it to your needs. Access to the source code is a precondition for this. And there is the next level, freedom 2. This is the freedom to redistribute copies so you can help your neighbor. The next level is freedom 3. This is the freedom to improve the program and release your improvements to the public so that the whole community benefits. This is the purpose of a free software, to benefit other individuals and to support the open source community as well. Access to the source code is the precondition for this, as you would have guessed already. We will see the drawbacks of R programming. Essentially, it is based on a 40-year-old technology. There is little built-in support for the dynamics or 3D graphics. But there is an open source community which is supporting it really good, and they are developing a lot of R tools which will help you in creating 3D graphics as well, which will be overcome in the future. So this may be a drawback in the current situation alone. And the functionality is based on consumer demand. Whatever functionalities you require from the R package might not necessarily be available in the current version. If you want to create a functionality, maybe you can create it, or you can hire someone who is well versed in R programming and you can ask them to contribute. Objects must be stored generally in the physical memory, but there have been advancements in this field too. I'll tell you about that later once we get into the parameters. R programming is not ideal for all possible situations, but this goes with any software, free or paid, whichever the case may be. Now we'll move on to the design of the R system. The R system is divided into two conceptual parts. The base R system that you can download from CRAN, which will be available when you search it on Google itself. You can get the link for downloading R, and there is other packages which are modular, which you can create, which you can extract from other users as well. So the functionality is divided into number of packages. The base R system contains, among other things, the base package, which is required to run R, and it contains the most fundamental functions. There are other packages in the base system as well, which includes utils, stats, datasets, graphics, GR devices, grid, methods, tools, parallel, compiler, splines, entire course. There are also recommend packages like boot, class, cluster, code tools, foreign, kernsmooth, lattice, MGCV, NLME, RPart, survival, mass, spatial, nnet, matrix. Looking more into the design of the R system, there are many other packages available which you can download from the CRAN webpage. There are almost about 4,000 packages on CRAN, and they have been developed by users and programmers all around the world. And there are also many packages associated with bioconductor project. You can see the URL given there, http://bioconductor.org. You can download those packages from this URL. And as you can notice, R programming is an open software, and there are multiple packages available for it in people's personal websites also. There is no reliable way to keep track of how many packages are available in this fashion. Now the resources for R, and I will give you the list of useful books also. The URL that you are seeing on the top is where you can download R package, which is depending upon your processor capability. If it is a 64-bit OS, you can download the 64-bit version. Both 64-bit and 32-bit comes along, and once it is installed, you can use the 64-bit or 32-bit based on your OS. There are a lot of books available and resources. An introduction to R is available in the same CRAN website. Writing R extensions, R data import or export are also available in CRAN website. R installation and administration, mostly for building R from the sources, and R internals. This you will get into once you are entering into the advanced level of R programming. Now to see the useful books for R programming: Standard Text Chambers 2008, written by John Chambers. Software for Data Analysis, Springer. Chambers 1998, Programming with Data, Springer. Venables and Ripley 2002, Modern Applied Statistics with S, Springer. Venables and Ripley 2000, S Programming, Springer. Pinheiro and Bates 2000, Mixed Effects Models in S and S+, Springer. Morel 2005, R Graphics, Chapman and Hall, CRC Press. Other resources: Springer has a series of books called Use R. A longer list of books, you can check it out at www.rproject.org/doc/bib/rbooks.html.